All right, so another live here at the K&A office, waiting for the students to get into class. So this video for you guys who are watching this after the live, this video is again you can see the title obviously. Is 380 still a viable round for self-defense? So we're gonna make this video. The short answer is, I mean, obviously, yeah, 380 will still kill somebody, right? If a 22 short can kill someone, a 380 can kill someone. But is it a preferred caliber or is it the right caliber for self-defense? So waiting for the class to get in because I do want to kind of get into it, all right? Because I do get this question a lot about what type of calibers, all right? I always recommend 9mm to people, but for some reason people hear, oh, 9mm, and everyone's like, no, I got to find a different way. I don't know. I don't know. I just go with it, right? So, all right, we got 4 people in here. Usually try to wait till I get about like 8, 9, 10 people. All right. So, all right, 4 people. All right, for y'all coming in, make sure y'all get a good seat. Is it unless humanity evolved armor in the last 100 years, why wouldn't it? I mean, they have, but like I said in the beginning, will a 380 still kill someone? Yeah, obviously. All right. But is it the best caliber for the job? Can we do better? And honestly, I believe we can, right? It's not 1908. It's not 1936, right? It's 2023. You can, wherever the 380 can do, nowadays a 9mm can do. So, all right, we got 8 people. Let's get the class started. All right. So, all right, guys, for y'all students joining, you can see the title, is 380 still a viable round for self-defense? All right. So, quick answer, like I said, yes, you can still use it for self-defense. What I want to do is get into some quick history of the 380 for people who don't know anything about 380, right? They might have just heard the name 380, right? So, 380 was made in 1908 by the infamous gunmaker John Moses Browning, right? The same John Moses Browning who made the Colt 1911 45 ACP, the same guy who made the Browning automatic rifle used in World War II and Korea. The 50 cal machine gun, John Browning made that. He also believed he made like the 30 cal machine gun. But John Moses Browning is one of America's most infamous firearm manufacturers out there. I think it goes John Moses Browning, then probably like Eugene Stoner, then maybe John, is it John Grand? I don't know, but the guy who made the M1 Grand. All right. So made in 1908 by John Moses Browning. Right. So the 380 comes like this. So we all know it by 380, or it's gone by other names as 380 Auto, 9x17 or 9mm Kurz. Kurz is German for short. All right. So 9mm short. All right. And actually, if you measure a 380, the bullet actually measures in 0.355 inches. Right. It's not actually a 380, like 0.380 inches in diameter, right? Is actually 0.355. But why they went with it, not sure. But that's what it's called nowadays. All right. So when they made the round, normally it was made to fire a 90 grain full metal jacket bullet at 950 feet per second. All right. All this information, if you guys are wondering, I'm getting from ammoland.com, right? I just did a quick little research on the caliber, and then made some quick points that I think would be interesting for people to know. And here we are. All right. So when it first came out in 1908, again, 90 grain full metal jacket was kind of the preferred round, because back then, 1908, they didn't have like hollow points. They didn't have the advancement in ammunition powders that they do nowadays. Because you look at nowadays, now you can find 80 to 102 grain jacket hollow points available, whether you go to Academy or some other local gun store, right? And instead of 950 feet per second, it goes from 870 to over 1,000 feet per second, right? So again, like it says, those are what's recommended for self-defense if you're going to carry a 380 for self-defense. All right. So it's not launching a very heavy bullet, right? Because if you look at a 9mm FMJ typically is 115 grains. You look at self-defense ammo for 9mm, it goes from like 124 I know up to 147. You got the odds and ends that might be like a little lighter, but they fly faster, and there might be a heavier round than 147. But typically 124 and 147 are your standards for hollow point ammo and 9 mils, and 115 grain is your standard for full metal jacket rounds. All right. So, all right, that sounds like a lot of good information about the 380. So why is the 380 not your preferred caliber, Locks? Right. So the problem with the 380 is due to the blowback automatics it's usually chambered in. Right. You gotta have these pressures really made right, or it's not going to operate reliably in that firearm. Right, because of the short recoil design. Right, it's a smaller round, so it's not going to generate that much force. So you're going to have to find like your powders to be right and everything to be right, so that slide will reciprocate fully back, eject that spent round, slide forward, and pick up the next round and chamber it for continuous and reliable fire. Now, with like again these little 380s, whatnot, sometimes they do lack in reliability. Not all of them, but if you get a good 380, you'll definitely be all right. But for the most part, a lot of these smaller guns, they typically do run into issues, right? Also, it's somewhat weaker than the old 38 special. So we all know Granddad's little 38 special. You probably had in his closet somewhere he used for I don't want to say civil rights movie, but we all know what a 38 special looks like. Right? Even that is quote unquote has more stopping power than a 380. But the problem with those revolvers is that they lack in capacity. So even with a revolver that holds 5 to 6 rounds, you can still get a 380 that holds 7 or more rounds in a magazine. So over a revolver, you're getting a higher level of capacity, but the level of reliability is more in the favor of the revolver than the 380. So you got to find these trade-offs. What's more important? If your gun, you got a good gun and is decently reliable, like if you got a decent 380 and is reliable, then I'd probably honestly carry that over a Smith & Wesson 38 Special. All right, but it depends on the application. Right, if I'm concealed carrying in my pants or my pocket, then sure, probably a 380 be cool. But now if I have like in a purse or something, I might want a revolver, right? Because that revolver will be able to shoot through that purse, or even if you had it in your pocket, it'll be able to shoot through your pocket and still, continuously fire. Whereas if you have a semi-automatic, it's not going to fire except that one round. And if it doesn't have enough room for that slide to fully reciprocate, it's just going to cause a malfunction, and you're just going to get that one round off. So there are trade-offs here and there. You just got to find what works for you. All right. Let me see these comments. All right. I like a 40. I'm gonna do a video on 40 cal, and it's probably gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, especially in the black community, because black people for some reason don't buy handguns or buy anything. Really, I don't know. We just don't buy anything unless it's in a rap video for some reason, and it really irks me. Right there, you go. 380s have problems with expanding. All right. So again, FMJ may be better, but then if you're using FMJ, you have a higher level of round passing through that person and hitting somebody you didn't intend to shoot. So again, you see the trade-offs here, right? There's 380 is a decent caliber, but it comes with a lot of caveats, right? So like this, rounds not being able to expand properly, even if they're hollow points, right? Reliability, because you're shooting a short gun and such with a short design like that. All right. So what's up? If I suggested 380, if I had to suggest a 380, I would go with 3 of them. Burst of Thunder 380. I've heard good things about those. They look nice. Can't go wrong with Glock. So you get a Glock 42 and 380. It'll work. And the Smith & Wesson EZ and 380. Those are my top 3 I would recommend for 380s. I appreciate it, sure enough. I've seen some, and honestly, like I'm gonna get to it as I go through because I want to pick up where I was. Right. So, all right, 380 was very popular though, especially back in the day before 9mm really took off, because it was something that people felt they can conceal very easily and keep on their body. Even European police used 380 for a long time, but eventually they switched over to 9 mil. Now, I don't know if that's something they chose to do or if that was just like a NATO thing. But eventually they did switch over to 9 mil. But there's a lot of added benefits that 9 mil has over 380. But again, we're talking back in the day, like 1908, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, right? Before the 9 mil really became what it was today. Right? People really carry 380 for like that, just that get off me gun, right? Okay, right. Again, back to the 38 special, right? Micro compacts do have a problem sometimes with reliability. They tend to jam a lot. Right? I've had 2 or 3 380s my time, and they did have issues, especially that Diamondback 380. That's one of the worst guns I ever bought in my life. A Diamondback 380. Don't buy anything from Diamondback, to be honest. But that Diamondback 380 was horribly unreliable. Horribly. It's one of the worst guns I ever bought in my life, right? But still, something like that barely works, not good. I had a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380. Now, when it comes to those little small guns, bro, shooting those little small guns is not fun, right? They require, more training, more, more technique, because again, the smaller the gun it is, the harder it is to shoot, right? That's why police departments, they issue their people Glock 17s or like the full size SIG 320s, because a full size handgun is easier to shoot than a subcompact, right? But you can't always put a subcompact in your pocket. I mean, you can't always put a full size in your pocket. Right. All right. What a manual. What are your thoughts on using realistic airsoft for training? I mean, shit, it works better than nothing. But this is on 380 though. We're talking about 380s. All right. All right, bet. So again, let's look at. So the first gun that was made in 380 was this gun. I actually had a little slideshow for you guys. There you go. So this was the first 380 that was really made in 1908. This is the 1908 Colt hammerless pocket gun, or you can see the number, Colt model 1908 pocket hammerless pistol. So this was the first 380 made, and it looked like this. It looks like a 1911, right? So you kind of see where he got the 1911 design from, because again, this looks just like a 1911 minus the grip safety and a beaver tail and a hammer. I mean, they got a beaver tail, but you could really kind of see how the 1911 came into fruition based off of this. All right. And so for people who are asking me, what's a good 380? So I'm going to go through this video because I made like a little 30-second video for you guys. Here we go. So all these 380s right here are somewhat decent. Not all of them. Some are. Like you got, again, I didn't like the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380, but it was reliable. I didn't have really any issues shooting it. I just did not enjoy shooting that thing. That thing was trash. Right? You got Colt 1911 to 380. You got the Ruger LCP. What is this? The Walter PPK. So if you want to look like James Bond, you can do that. All right? So all these guns, you got a Glock. Again, another Ruger LCP. You got a SIG 365 and 380. You got the Smith & Wesson EZ in 380. Again, another fucking Ruger. Again, burst of 380s. More 1911s. Cars. They make, see that high point? Don't look at that. Don't look at that high point. That high point don't exist. But there are a lot of guns out there chambered in 380 that are pretty decent. All right, so you can definitely get 380. It's just, it's not the best, right? So let's get into the pros and cons. The pros of 380 is easy to conceal because typically a 380 gun is a small, like compact type handgun. Right? I was about to pull out my gun, but I forgot I can't do that. Capacity compared to a revolver, right? You can get 7, 8, 9 or plus rounds in a 380, where a revolver you're not going to get more than 6, typically, at least in a defensive revolver. Right? You're not going to get more than 6 rounds. Recoil management. Now, that's recoil management compared to 9 mils and 40s, 45s, right? Those type of handguns. But the thing is, or I'll get to it in the cons, but it has better recoil management than some of those larger calibers because again, it's smaller round, not so much more power, not so much power coming out of that gun. So you're able to fire that round and get back on target easier than, let's say, if you were shooting a sub compact 45, right? And then ammo in stock. Next to 9 mil, 380 is usually always on the shelves, right? When it comes to self defense calibers, 9 mil, I don't really. People have 40 caliber. I don't really consider that like. I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong, but you got 9 mil, you got 40, you got 45, you got 380. Those are like your top four for self defense caliber. So 380 is typically going to be on the shelves at these local gun stores, so you can get ammo. Now the cons, right? The downside of 380, like we talked about, the reliability, right? Shooting these small guns with a short recoil design, like if you're trying to use some fancy, smancy ammo, it may not work reliably, right? If your pressures are too high, you might end up destroying the gun, causing some type of malfunction. If the powder's too light, or the pressures are too light, it's not going to reliably cycle that gun. So everything needs to be perfectly balanced. Ammo capacity. Now this is in lieu of the guns that we carry today. Like if you got you a 380, like Glock 42 380, right? That holds 6-7 rounds. Versus if you got a Glock 43X, which is about the same damn size, maybe just a tad bit bigger. Now you're getting 10 rounds plus one, so 11 rounds in a 9 mil caliber handgun that provides more power, more reliability. Again, you see cheaper. The 9 mil ammo is cheaper than 380, right? So again, why go 380 if you can get a more powerful, more reliable, more trusted caliber than 380? Right? Harder to shoot small guns. It requires more training, right? People are not. If I don't want to say people are lazy, people are lazy, but if something requires people to put a large amount of effort into it, 9 times out of 10 they're not going to do it. Especially when they know that they could go out and get something that's a little bit better than what they got, and it doesn't require as much training. Ammo costs. Ammo for 380 is still more expensive than 9 mil. Right? Requires more training. Again, shooting small guns is harder than shooting a larger gun. No real benefit over 9 mil, and that's true. What is it that you're getting at a 380 that nowadays a 9 mil pistol can't do? 9 mils are just as small, right? And they still hold either the same amount or even more rounds than a 380. More powerful, ammo's cheaper, so you can train more. You have a more variety of self-defense calibers in 9 mil than you do for 380. So you have more options out there on the market. So again, 380 is cool, but nowadays in 2023, I don't really see a huge benefit to having a 380 over a 9 mil, especially when the 9 mil can do everything 380 can't. It can do everything it can and can't, right? So that's just my little piece about it. So look, the LCP max holds up to 12. But again, why get it LCP max in 380 when, like you said, if you get a Glock 43X and then you get those shield arm mags, now you have 16 rounds of 9 mil and something that's about the same size as these 380s. So there's real no added benefit. Yeah, the 380 you could probably get a little bit smaller, but then again, it's like how small do you need the gun to be? If you can get 43, regular Glock 43 and a Glock 42 are damn near the same size gun. They hold, I think, the same amount of capacity, but the 43 is going to be more powerful in a 9 mil than 380. So why would you go with a 380 over a 9 mil? I said, what 9 mil is the size of a 380 max that holds 12 rounds? I don't know if you're talking about something special. Are we talking about the same 380 here? All right. Car 380 and it's crap. I've heard mixed reviews about cars. I heard some people say like praise them. Some people like you said no, it's just trash. So, all right. So again, I want to hear from you guys. Why would you pick a 380 over 9 mil? All right. Mhm. So I'll put this up here because I want to hear the comments from you guys. Why would you try to make a good case? I want to hear you guys make a good case about why 380 is still better than 9 mil, if you can, right? If you can. All right. Show enough says 9 mil all day. He said my 380 was when I didn't know better. I feel you on that. I was the same way, bro. That's why I was like, oh, 380 is so small. I could put it in my pocket. I could do all this and that. And, again, I guess, no, when you know better, you'll do better. All right. It says easier concealment. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. 380s are easy to conceal. But if you look at the market of 9 mils now, like I said, you take a Glock 42 and a 43, right? What is the main difference that would make you pick the 380 over the 9 mil? Right? We're talking about these two handguns because they're damn near identical in every way, shape, and form. So, uh, so it fits my pocket and looks like a wallet. Mm. So you keep talking about 380 max. This must be something different than just a normal 380. So I'm pulling up on Google. I want to see. So, all right, look at that. All right, you didn't think you would know better. Okay, so that's basically what he's talking about. So they're about the same size gun. It just seems like it's a little bigger. But then, even then, it's like if the ammo you're buying costs more, you know. But that's just me. I like to hear from you guys and see, what you guys think and feel. Because again, if you ask me again, yes, 380 is still a viable round for self-defense. 380 will still kill somebody. You shoot somebody in the head with a 380, and that's gonna fuck their day up. Right? But you shot somebody in the head with the 22 short, it'll still mess their day up. Right? You can still easily kill somebody with that. It's just nowadays with the advancement in 9 mil technology, the advancement in 9 mil pistols, and then you look at the ballistic data, like there is no real added benefit of having a 380 over a 9 mil nowadays. I know a lot of women, like we train women, like, oh, I want a 380 because they have this notion that a 380 is a woman's caliber, or it's just designed for women because it's like the recoil is just so much softer than anything else they've ever shot. And that's not true. Right? 380 still kick, right? Especially in these short guns. The shorter the gun, the more felt recoil. So, right. That's just how I be thinking. Like I be trying to explain to them, just get you a 9 mil, get you a caliber that is suited for the job. Always trying to find self comfort, in this field of self defense tactics, whatever. It's not always gonna happen. You're not always gonna be finding something that's just super convenient, something that just shoots the way you want. It's not so loud. There's no flash. Oh, the trigger is just perfectly crisp. Oh, the recoil is just non-existent. Like you're not gonna get that, right? So, all right. So will a fistful of rocks, right? But again, like I said, 22 will still drop somebody. Uh, talking to many folks. The ones who still talk smack all hit 9mm for the. Okay, I don't know if you're just saying. 380 max is not all I have. I have 1 and 12 round in the extendo. But again, like that's 12 rounds. Again, if you get you a 43X and a shield arm mag, now you have 16 rounds, right? Or if you're just one of the people like I'm gonna get me that X macro, and now you got what 17, so +1 plus 18 rounds, 9mm, and something that you can easily conceal or throw in your pocket. So, I mean, if you already got one, then hey, fuck it, you already spent the money on it, you might as well use it, right? Yeah, Glock 42, 42 and the 43, I think is honestly damn near like the same gun in every dimension, except for like 43 may be a little bit wider because the 9mm round is wider and bigger than 380. But that might be like the only main difference. But the sights, the slide, the trigger, the internals, the grip, all that shit's still the same. It's like damn near the same size. I feel like they just kind of took one. I feel like they used like the same type of frame, and they just threw on like a little thicker slide for the 43. So, all right, that's a myth too. All right, be honest, a woman can shoot any caliber that a man can. They just do they desire to. And the average woman I've noticed in my classes, they don't desire to necessarily shoot those big guns, the 40, 45. Like they might want to shoot it once or twice for fun, but as far as carrying it and using it consistently and training with it, a lot of women don't like to use those bigger calibers. And that's what I was talking about before when I was talking about comfort and convenience. A lot of women try to keep that comfort and convenience, in everything they do, and especially that's not going to happen. Here, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Right? You got to be comfortable under high pressures of stress, comfortable in confusing situations. You got to be comfortable in doing things that you probably have never done before or you're not very experienced in or any of that. So trying to be completely comfortable in this world that, we're in right now, it's not always going to happen. So I always tell women, get what's best for the job and then train with it. All right. Yeah. It'll blast like a 9mm if you keep it, clean and up to standards. But that's the thing, that the system of 380 is so delicate that it's not going to be as reliable under adverse conditions, water, dirt, mud, sand, the cold, as well as 9mm. Again, the extra pressure that the 9mm is bringing when it fires and it pushes that slide back does aid in its reliability. Now, if you get something that's light, right? So you push something really hard, like a 9mm, they're gonna move. If you get somebody a little, like a 380, they're not gonna move that much, right? So it may not reciprocate that slide. I've had that happen with 380s. I'll shoot a 380 and then like the slide doesn't really even move. All right. I've also had that happen with 9mm, but there was like something bigger going on with that. But really with 380, I just had a lot more issues and malfunctions with 380 versus 9mm. Thank you, D Blaze. It says the mailbox again. Hey, it's better than nothing, right? I'd honestly rather you come out with what's the Glock 22? I think it's the Glock 44. I think that's the 22 long rifle version of the Glock. It was not my first choice, but I'd rather you go out to your mailbox or you conceal carry a 22 long rifle than nothing at all. Right? Just as long as you train with that gun. Right? It'll be hard. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna be hard, but if you trained and proficient with that 22 long rifle, you can still get yourself out of certain situations. What up, Vaughn? What up, Cali? Vaughn, get out of there. Get out of California. Come to America. Ruger Security 9. That's a decent gun. I believe Zach, who I do security with, I believe he carries a Ruger 9. I know he got a Glock now, but I know for like the longest, he carried a Ruger. He was a big Ruger fanboy. And I finally got him on the Glock. And because it's like, Zach, if you got a Ruger 9mm and I got a Glock and we getting some shit, how are we going to exchange ammo, right? So I'm a big firm believer in that too. Just not to get too far off side topic, but if you're like how I made a video in the past about starting your own tribe, or if you're doing security, something like that, you got a little training group. Ammo. What is the word I'm looking for? Damn, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But when y'all have the same ammo, it makes things a lot easier, right? Especially if one of y'all needs a mag. Black Gun Owner, what up, man? Y'all need to follow his Instagram, social media, y'all. If you haven't checked out Black Gun Owner magazine. What up, Notorious? Malfunction. Um, a lot of times it'd be like failure to eject, um, or it have trouble picking up the round sometimes, or I said failure to eject. That's like the main one. Sometimes stovepipes. Right, it was just with the slide and the power of the cartridge. Sometimes it just like it wouldn't always kick the round out fully. It would usually stovepipe or get caught, or like I said, the slide wouldn't even move sometimes. So, and then I never like shooting those small guns because it's like you shoot like 30, 40 rounds out of those little tiny like handguns, and then like your hand starts to cramp up, especially if you got big hands like me trying to shoot this little. It's honestly so awkward trying to shoot like this because you don't get no pinky grip. You're just using these two fingers and the trigger finger, and it's just weird, right? 6 mil arc. I don't know. They come up with all these new calibers. I'm not getting on 6 mil arc anytime soon, right? Because again, my thing isn't to be on every new round that comes out. It's ammo compatibility. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Compatibility. All right. So again, my mindset when I'm buying gear or looking for new gear, looking to upgrade my rifles and everything, it's basically what is my training group short bus actual? What do we need? What is our mission? How does this benefit me and the team? So my mindset might be a little bit different than y'all who are kind of by yourself. Now, if you just got all the pretty guns, you got your your loadout and everything, then cool. Going to 6 mil arc, if you really want to. But for me, again, I know they shoot flatter and everything. I know the whole craze is about being flat. You got the 6.5 Creedmoor, you got this 6 mil arc, right? I know all these new calibers out there, but I haven't met a caliber that's just so much better than 5.56 or 308. To be honest, I know there are other ones that are good and better, but I'm not getting 6.5. The range we have does not go over 700 yards. So a 6.5 Creedmoor is not going to do me any benefit, 700 yards and in. Right? I know it shoots flatter, but 700 yards of 308 is still flat enough to be accurate. All right, even at 5.56 at 700, can still reach out and touch somebody consistently and accurately. But brand 380, just all of them, to be honest. I made a nice little here. I'm gonna have this video rolling because I know a lot of y'all just kind of came in. So this is a video of basically, I just Googled 380s. And so all these little 380 pistols y'all can check out. There you go. You can look at the guns, not me. So for Notorious, all these are decent. But like again, someone asked me what are my top three: Burst of Thunder 380, a Glock 42 and 380, and the Smith & Wesson EZ and 380. Those are my top three. Now, if I had to give a full five, I would probably say one of these 1911s and 380, or maybe even dang, what's it called? Walther PPK. One of those. I think that would be my top five. Burst of Thunder 380, Glock 42 380, Smith & Wesson EZ 380, Walter PPK, and a 1911 and 380. All right, like a Colt. Because again, who made 380? Colt. So, well, John Moses Browning, but he was kind of like, the guy. So Derek Wassons, you're gonna make me do another video here soon on that. If you really want to start a gun channel, do so. And I probably will make a video. I'm not gonna get too far into it, but do not compromise, who you are as a person. Now, if you stand on certain things, like me, take me for example. I am standing on the ground of being pro-black and marketing to black people specifically, not exclusively. Like I know other people watch the channel, and I'm happy for you guys. If you find information here that's informative and helps benefit you, hey, I'm all happy to hear from you guys and help you out. But my main mission is to educate the black community, and so knowing that if that's your mission, be honest, is to educate black people, you got to be understand that you're not going to get all the followers that the other people get, right? You're not going to get all the sponsorships. You're not going to get all the guns and ammo and gear that they get sent out to your channel because again, the companies want the black dollar, but they don't want the black support. Right? That's so. If you're gonna stand on the ground, make sure you stand on that ground, right? And don't let nobody come. Oh, here we can come to this XYZ tactical, and we'll pay you this and that. But you just can't talk about black people, black history. You got to be out there at the rainbow parades. You got to be out there at the Republican parades, Democratic parades, right? You start doing shit that you don't feel comfortable doing. You didn't get into this to do. No, don't be that person. AR pistols. I don't know. There's so many decent companies out there. So let's see. What was Chase saying? I was considering getting my wife a Smith & Wesson EZ 380. Do you think that's a viable option? Yes. When it comes to women, I made a whole video on the Smith & Wesson EZ. When it comes to women, I think the Smith & Wesson EZ is one of the best handguns for a woman, especially if she's new to shooting or she doesn't just necessarily have like the muscle definition or build to like pull back like a Glock 19, slide and hold it back, lock it back, and everything like that. Or they don't have the muscle dexterity to load a magazine, like to push around down and keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Smith & Wesson EZ is my recommended handgun, but in 9mm. Right, 380 is cool, but get 9mm. That way, Chase, if you have a 9mm, at least y'all can share ammo, right? It might not be magazines, but you can share ammo. So you go to the store, and when you buy FMJ ammo, then you and your wife can train off that ammo. You buy hollow points, you and your wife can carry off that ammo. All right. So Smith & Wesson EZ is my recommended choice, but in 9mm, not 380. That's the thing. Military is not. Military just invested in their 6.8. Right. So after all that money, the millions and billions of dollars they just spent to upgrade all their 5.56 rifles to 6.8 and all their 7.62, their 308 machine guns to was it 338 Magnum or normal or some shit, some type of 338, right? If the military spent all that money, they're honestly probably not going to pick up a 6mm arc. Because now, like even the snipers, I know back in the day, like when snipers really started, it was like 30-06. Springfield 1903, 30-06. M1 Grand D, 30-06. The Winchester Model 70 used by snipers in Vietnam, that was originally 30-06. Then they moved to the M40A1, which is in 308. Right, and 308 was the caliber for a while. Right, you had the M14 308. You had the M40 and the A1, A2, A3, A4, A5s, 308. Right. I think I said M14, 308. Right. AR-10s. Right. The SR-25s, 308. Right. But now they're moving. They've kind of been moved. But now a lot of the snipers now using the Remington XM 2010s, 300 Win Mag, or they got the new sniper rifle from Barrett. I forgot the number. But again, that one shoots 308, 338, and 300 Win Mag with interchangeable barrels. I think that system is pretty dope. That new Barrett sniper rifle, because not only do you like you can have a 308 barrel, right? Have all your data and your dope cards. You literally change out the barrel, put in a 338 lapua barrel, and whatever data and everything you have for 338 will still carry over, even though you change out the barrel. You don't have to re-zero the whole rifle. So I think that system's pretty cool right there. Glock 42 felt the best, even though it was not great to shoot. Right? I honestly didn't have much of a problem either with the Glock 42 and 380. But I'm a Glock fanboy, so you know. But I still bought the 43. I bought a 43, like the regular 43, and then I went back and bought the 43X because again, there is no added benefit that 380 gives you over 9mm. No, I never heard people say the concealability, but you can get you a 9mm just the same size as one of these 380s. So and then so like again, if you have a pocket size 380 that carries 6 rounds plus one in the chamber, so it's 7, and a 9mm that holds 7 rounds is literally the same size. Why would you not go with the 9mm? Y'all asking all type of questions. It's a hollow sun mount that I got off Amazon, but basically it's an adapter piece that will screw into the 509T. So if you get a hollow sun 509T, you have to get a pick rail adapter for that to mount on a Picatinny rail. So just a word of advice. So if you're a dead set on the 509T, I would look at a scope mount that will allow you to mount some type of red dot just on there, right? Because again, the thing it's not like a make or break, but the thing is when you add that little Picatinny rail, so the optic sits up here, and you add that little Picatinny rail, now it's kind of stacked up a little higher than it really, I won't say should be because it's not that bad to be honest, but it could sink down a little lower if they came straight from the factory with the already built-in Picatinny rail mount. Then it would actually sit a little bit lower on my 5X, and then I wouldn't feel like I have so much of a chin weld. I'd actually kind of still be able to get a little bit more cheek on it. But the way it is now is honestly not that bad, right? It's really doable because again, if you're using that red dot, like my setup is a 5X prism scope from Primary Arms and a 509T on top of that. I actually have a picture. I'm gonna pull that up for you guys. And so that's my setup on my 11.5 right now. Let me find that picture. All right, so that's what it looks like. And see how you got that piece of metal on right under the red dot? It just makes it sit up that look much higher on the optic. I mean, on your rifle when you're shooting. But don't get me wrong, the setup though, I'm loving the setup. Right, it's a poor man's ACOG. I'm gonna do a video on it called the poor man's ACOG, or Mom, I want an ACOG. It's like, no, we have ACOG at home. That's what I want to do with it. But I've been liking it. When I get a chance, I already talked to Keith about it. We're gonna do like a short bust running gun, and definitely get more info on it. 30 super carry takes off. It will surpass 380. Now that's one caliber. No, I've seen that I haven't really messed with. I know Ken at Perfectus Group. He was doing a number of videos on that super carry, and again, I'm all for advancement in technology and bullets, but I just don't see how a lot of these newer calibers like 6mm arc, dang, it was like some hunting round that came out, but things like that, like 224 Valkyrie, 30 super carry, just some of these odd end calibers. I mean, I don't see them replacing 9mm or 5.56 or 308 really anytime soon. They have, I feel like if they had some type of backing or history, like if they was really like a military cartridge, they was actually like Ukrainians right now were using 30 super carries and 6 mil arcs, like that. I think people would have a little bit more inclination to go buy those rounds or to mass produce those rounds. But since those rounds are just coming out and there's no real background on them, nobody really knows how a 30 super carry will actually drop somebody, right? Because again, ballistic gel does not replicate fully what it does to a human. Yeah, it can give you an idea. Okay, the bullet's going to expand this far in the body, but it doesn't give an accurate representation of what happens if I take this 30 super carry and I start poking holes in that fucking crackhead that's coming at me with a bat. All right, is that crackhead going to feel that 30 super carry on his inebriated state enough to cease his actions? All right, because again, when you look at 9 mil, a lot, even 45, right? People who have been high on narcotics have taken multiple AK-47 rounds to center mass to the body and still continued on the fight. So, you know, because again, I don't trip too much about these pistol calibers, because ultimately, unless you're shooting like a 44 Magnum, 357 Magnum, something like that, all pistol rounds are really ineffective at stopping people. Right? Granted, I know we see a lot of people get killed by pistols, but normally for that person to die from a pistol, it has to hit something vital, like the brain, the heart, an artery, so you bleed out, right? But I think it was like 80% or higher of people who were shot by handguns survive. Because again, you that small little round, you put a hole in someone's shoulder, yeah, they're gonna be blood and they're gonna be hurt and shit. But that small hole is not gonna do enough damage unless it hits something vital, right? To put that person down. So yeah, that Barrett is filthy, right? Imagine having just like 3 different calibers that you can just interchange between, and still maintain your same zero. So Barrett really kind of up the game on that one when I was watching that Grand Thumb video. Value wise, I mean, me and the homies use 55 grain out to 600-700 yards, um, all the fucking time. To be honest, I mean, we're not rich. We're not gonna be out there with like with a 1,000 round box of 77 grains, just launching them right down range. So most of what we're shooting is 55 grain stuff. So I guess I would say that's the best budget, right? Because it'll get you out to 600 really easy. Especially if you're using like me, I got a 16-inch AR-15, and I put like 5 rounds on a 600 yard, was 627 yards or 637 yards, one of those two. I made a video, um, and I fired 5 straight rounds, bow, 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 and all of them center mass at 637 or 27. So. I guess I would say, Nico, what is like your furthest engagement, right? If you're shooting out to 1,000, then you're gonna want something different than a 5.56. You're gonna want a 308 at minimum, right? A 308 launching 175 grain projectiles. Right? Exactly. Right. We can go back and trace. We can honestly look back at actual no BS like police videos or combat videos and actually see, all right, this is what happens when a 9 mil is used on somebody high on narcotics. This is what happens when a 5.56 is used on somebody high on narcotics. Right. Or this is what happens when a 5.56 hits somebody at 300 yards, 400 yards, 500, 600, 700 yards. Right. We have analytical, actual, factual data on those two calibers. And so when we go out and buy them, we have this wide, like we can like, why do you have 9 mil? Just drop a stack of info on them. Or you got 5.56, just drop a stack of info on them. Now, if I come out with a 6 mil arc and 30 super carry, and they're like, well, what's the historical background on these rounds? My shit is like, well, in the lab, they said that it does this. All right, that's me. That's not good enough. All right. 5'7". There we go. 5'7". All right, I might. I don't know if I want to do a video on it, but 5.7. I feel like when it comes like the 380, 40 cal, 5.7s, I low-key feel the same about them, that they're just niche rounds, right? They're the only reason the 5.7 has any type of popularity in the world is because of the P90 little submachine gun and NATO trying to make. I get why NATO would do it, right? I get it. It makes sense, right? If we're gonna use this P90, which we really like, which cool. A lot of people like P90s. I like P90s. They're cool. You get like this cool little magazine that holds 50 rounds on top and shit. Ejects from the bottom and it's small and compact, shoots fast, but it's still supposed to be like a rifle caliber, as they told us, right? So again, P90 was cool. I still think P90s are cool, right? If you get a suppressed P90 full auto, I would use that as my home defense vehicle gun in a heartbeat, just because I could, right? But as far as 5.7, and a lot of people talk about the handguns. NATO made the 5.7 handgun because they wanted ammo compatibility with the P90. Right? They sent out their blue hats to bumfuck Egypt, right? They sent them out there, and they have that P90 and 5.7. They got a pistol in 5.7. So when NATO sends out ammo to these people, it's just all 5.7, right? I know a lot of people don't know, but one of the biggest problems America had during World War II was logistically supplying their troops, right? Because again, you have a squad of guys. One or two guys got a 45 ACP Thompson submachine gun or a grease gun at 45 ACP. 3 or 4 guys might have M1 Grands and 30-06. You're gonna have, you might, if you're lucky, you might have a sniper who has a 30-06 rifle. Then you got this guy over here, the automatic rifleman. He's got a BAR 30-06. Then you got this guy over here. He's carrying a radio. He's got an M1 carbine in 30 caliber, right? So when these people are trying to supply a squad, they're like, oh, we need 45, we need 30-06, we need 30 cal, right? And so that's hard to logistically supply all those people. So during that time between World War II, we went into Korea. Korea kind of just happened before America could really get their logistics supply, in order. And so they just went out literally the same shit that they had in World War II, because that's honestly what they had at the time. But you look at, what was it, 1957, I think, 1958. That's when they replaced the M1 Grand, the BAR, the Thompson submachine gun, the M1 carbine, even the 1903 Springfield sniper rifle with the M14. Right. So now when they send their troops out, they have an M14, and I don't know if they had the M60 machine gun at that time, but when the troops first went to Vietnam, they had M14s 308, M60 machine guns 308. All right. So it just send these guys 308. But whether it was lobbying or good marketing, or really they just saw the benefit of the 5.56 caliber round, they got rid of the M14, not completely, but for the most part, got rid of the M14 and adopted the 5.56. So just a little quick history for y'all. All right. 45 offset or 90-degree top mount. Go. What? Okay, so if you plan on shooting that gun with night vision goggles, 90-degree top mount. All right. If you don't plan on shooting this shit under nods, like this is just a competition thing, then probably a 45-degree offset might be what you want. Again, 90-degree top mounts is again, if you're shooting nods like me, my thing is 90 degrees, because when you try to flip that 45, a lot of times you might not get that clearance you need. And so just 90 degrees just works better, because you flip it and you're trying to tuck your head. It's easier to keep your head straight, put the rifle on your shoulder, and just bring it up, and that red dot's right there under your night vision goggles. So yeah. All right, running through these questions. All right, so again, we're here 54 minutes. We're about to close out. It's almost been another hour. I love how you guys stick around and actually listen to me talk and shit for an hour. I would just be like, damn, I would never. I'd get tired of hearing me talk. But again, last 5 minutes. If you guys have any questions specifically on the 380 caliber, let me know. What is this? Why is it? Like, is that what you're building? Or are you asking a question? I don't know. If you ask me, I see P and W, so pin and weld. You can pin and weld, but I don't see. I mean, no, I know it's like, oh, I want to get it to 16 inches. I mean, if you're that person, cool. I mean, to be honest, if you, I know people are like, oh, it's this much shorter than a 16 inch. That's not really a much difference, right? To get a rifle and then pin and weld it where you can't change out the muzzle device. I would just say if you want a gun in 16 inches, just get you a 16-inch gun. All right, that little half-inch difference or whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't honestly matter that much. It really doesn't. So I would just say get you a standard 16-inch barrel from either Roscoe Manufacturing or from Ballistic Advantage. Right? You don't really need to go anywhere else. Get you a 16-inch barrel and just call it a day, dog. But as far as if you're going 13.7, the whole point I think people getting 13.7s is to have a shorter version of a rifle. Right? So if you pin and weld it to 16, it kind of defeats the purpose. Especially if you're just getting that much benefit. So I would just say, just get a 13.7. Don't pin and weld it. Do you have to SBR? You can if you want to, if you're about that life. If you want to put a pistol brace on there, you can. Or you could just be an American and just get you a 13.7 and throw a stock on there. And somebody gets mad, ask questions, ask them, are they the ATF and do they got a warrant? All right. So that's what I do. I do like, you ATF, you got a warrant, then don't worry about what I got. But that's me. I would just say 13.7. But on the 300 blackout though, if you're getting a 300 blackout, then I wouldn't get anything over 10 inches because I mean, to me, the whole point of a 300 blackout is to have a rifle caliber in as short of a package as you reliably can. All right. Because again, if you're going to go 13.7, 13.9, you might as well just get a 5.56. Yeah. It says, box them titties. It says, I like 40. No one else is buying up the ammo. Unless you in like the Chicago, right? The hood or some shit. That's the only people buying up 40 cal is all the rappers and their homeboys. So it says you're a 16-inch barrel from barrel. You take that back. I am most definitely a 16-inch barrel from Ballistic Advantage. You better put some respect on my name, boy. It says M4A1 is the only one that made sense. Again, no, if you're gonna pin and weld, that's completely fine. It just make sure before you pin and weld it, you have that muzzle device that you want. So if your thing is, I want a SOCOM RC2 suppressor, then make sure you get you a Surefire, either War Comp or muzzle brake or flash hider, and you pin and weld that because you know this is like kind of the end goal, right? I want this suppressor on my gun. That's the end goal. So that's what I would say. If you're gonna pin and weld, find a suppressor that you really like or you want, and get a muzzle device and pin and weld that. So when you get that suppressor, it's just gonna automatically mount on there, and then you don't have to have any issues. I don't like when people pin and weld like an A2 bird cage on their gun, because again, unless you're getting like a Griffin suppressor, or one of those suppressors that will mount to a bird cage, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because you're gonna get that bird cage, and then you're like, oh, I want this suppressor and muzzle device, and I'm like, well, this shit's pin and weld, dog. Like, you know, it's gonna cost a lot of money to unpin this, right? And then put something else on. Like, you probably might end up having to just get a whole nother barrel and that muzzle device and just tell them pin and weld this and swap barrels. Now you're spending extra money, right, to get no added benefit. All right. What up, Smitty? Like Eric playing with me. Eric's mad because he was born in the High Point factory. Eric was born right between like where they have the High Point pistols and where they have the High Point carbines. Right in that middle, that's where Eric was born. All right, we're at an hour, so I'm not gonna hold you guys up. I want you guys, what was I gonna say? Fuck me. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by, listening to me rant about 380 and my thoughts on 380. Again, in short, get a 9mm. That's all I'm gonna say. 380 does not provide you any added benefit that a 9mm can't do. Right, and 9mm is cheaper and more available and have more caliber options. Right, and it's cheaper. I don't know if I said that already. Oh, now y'all want to ask questions. All right, these are gonna be the last two from unboxing, and it's your boy Matt. So last two. All right, Matt says thoughts on comp guns. I mean, if you're running competition, cool, right? Because you're gonna want as flat as possible. But if you're using this for self-defense, understand that comp guns with compensators or muzzle brakes and shit, they have an added muzzle flash. They just more muzzle flash than it's just a standard barrel. So again, if you're shooting at night, that can be disorienting, right? If that flash is too bright, you might lose that night vision. Now you're just seeing spots and shit, and that's not what you want to see in a gunfight, right? So yeah, again, comp guns for competitions. And now last one, unboxing. Indoor range versus outdoor. I will always prefer an outdoor range versus indoor. One is not so loud, because indoor ranges it just holds in all that sound, right? And I was that guy who would come in to the gun range with that 7.5-inch AR-15 with the muzzle brake. I was that dude. Yes, I was. I had now I'd be doing mag dumps, right? I was that guy. And so you don't want to be around people like me in the indoor range doing shit like that, because if you're trying to focus on your accuracy and you got a guy next to me just right, that's gonna be hard to practice. And then outdoor ranges usually give you more freedom, especially in movement. Especially if it's outdoor range that has individual bays where you can run back and forth, lay down, go prone, and really do things like that. Outdoor range is the way to go. And then I don't know, something about indoor ranges, it gives me anxiety, because like you're like, again, I like Gateway because they have individual bays. They got concrete and everything. So the only one in that bay is me and the people I'm shooting with, or it just might be me. Where you go to indoor range, like you might have like a piece of wood blocking you from the person next to you, and that always kind of gives me anxiety. Right, I prefer the indoor gun ranges that has like the transparent glass, so that way I can at least, okay, this guy's being a dumbass. Hey. So something like that. But when it's just like a piece of wood and you can't see what's going on, it always gives me anxiety, because I'm sitting there low my mags, like, is the person next to me just gonna like just doing some dumb shit like click, 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 foul, and then my dumbass is. So that's my anxiety when it comes to indoor ranges. You got it. It's not bad about the indoor range. It's just the people that just typically be in the indoor ranges. Like, there's just so many just untrained, uneducated people within close proximity of you. And it just gives me anxiety. So I don't like being an indoor. Are high points trash? Not only are they trash, but I would take a bunch of high points, build a trash can, and take my trash and put it in the high points. Is that trash? All right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Your pappy is Alto. Your pappy is Alto in his Taurus G2. Always go suppressed. We're civilized here, people. We're civilized. Always go suppressed. Especially if you're shooting rifles. shooting suppressed, and especially if you got a squad or team and you guys want to communicate and move and not give off such a huge signature, definitely being suppressed is the way to go. Especially if you plan on doing things at night. What's up?
Oh,
yeah, you can't show it. You didn't see that. You didn't see that, StreamYard.
This is YouTube.
You didn't see that, StreamYard. Slide. Eric said, I'm a slide now. All right. Bring your ass in. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Stay educated. Stay dangerous. LocsNLoad out.